KK Matrix, the solution to your mathematics.
Everyone, this is KK Matrix. Today, we'll actually be dealing with set the junior level. Now, we have a question on our screen here. The question goes that in a class of 40 students, the number of students who study French only is far less than the number of students who study history. If 8 students study both French and history, we are told to find number of students who study history and number of students who study French, and then evaluate this expression we see on your screen here. Now, the solution. The first thing we do is to draw our informations from the question. Now, the number of students in the class is, and into bracket, this is still a universal set, which is the number of students in the class, and that's 40. The n here means number of what? It means the number of the element, or in this case, this particular question, number of students. So we have number of age denoting history, number of students who study history, and that's equal to x. Now the reason why we have this to be equal to x is because in the information we were not given number of students who study history. The question says the number of students who study French only is 4 less than the number of students who study history. We don't know history, so let's find history first. So we have rather denoted history to equal to x in order for us to what? Then go ahead to tackle with French only. So the next thing we did is to find French only. Now we know French only. We know French only in our state then. It's very important for you to note that French only is not the same as the number of students who study French, because French only are students who study only French and not history. There are students who study French and history, but in this case, French only do not study history at all. And then the number of students who study French rather contains the number of students who study French only, and also contains the number of students who study French and history. So these two statements we see here are two different things here. This contains this, but this is different from that. Yes. And so since the question states that those who study French only is what? 4 less than the number of students. So it's 4 less. The word less means subtraction. If it was to be more, then it means addition. But in this case, we have the word less used, means subtraction. So number of students study history is x. So French only is x minus 4, right? So we have x minus 4. Okay. And that would be into the number of students study history equals 8. Okay. So number of students study French and history equals 8. So it's very important for us to note that, because the question states if 8 students study both French and history. Okay. So we move on ahead to sketch our information in the Venn diagram to make things simpler for us. Now, we've illustrated the universal number of students in the class, and that's outside the Venn diagram, number of students study French, number of students study history. We have number of students study French and history illustrated here outside, and the number of students who study French only. French only is x minus 4. On a normal basis, if it was to be French, then if it was to be this French, then we would have subtracted h from it. But in this case, French only is only this part. Okay. Now we have number of students who study uh, French only, history only, and that's x minus 8. Okay, that's because we're subtracting x out of what? X. We are subtracting 8 out of x. So that is what we have here. So it's very important for you to note here. Yes. So the next thing we do is go ahead and equal and swap for x. So we find our x. So find x. So in finding x, it's very important for us to sum everything. Sum everything in the circle. So everything within all the 2 circles. So we have x minus 4, x minus 4 plus 8 plus x minus 8, and all this is equal to 40. Okay, So that being said, let's do lightens here. We have x plus 8 minus 8 minus 4 equal to 40. Okay, so this is clearer and this is obvious. So the next thing we do is, okay, let's magnify it a little bit for you to see clearly. So zoom it. Okay, so in finding our x here, the next thing we do is we know x plus x equals 2x, and then 8 minus 8 is 0. Okay, so we have minus, so we have with minus 4 here, and that's equal to 40. And we know x, so 2x, we take the minus 4 to the left hand side, sorry, the right hand side. So taking it to the right hand side, we'll then have, now on the left hand side is minus 4, on the right hand side it will be positive 4. So we have 40 plus 4. So then we have 2x, it's very important to show bracket. So we have 4, that's 4. So 2 divided by 44, we divide the left hand side and the right hand side by 40 by 2, sorry. So we have x to be equal to 22. So then we found our x. So we can then go on ahead to conclude by saying that our student who study French early is 22. Who study French is 22. Number of students, and then so therefore number of students who study French early. French, sorry, but history. We found history rather. Who study history is 22. So therefore, the number of students who study history is 22. Okay. So we then move on to find the number of students who study French. So finding the number of students who study French, we already have that um, when we consider, first of all, we consider the diagram here, we notice that with the French, so under the sector of French, okay, when we consider the circles of French, we see that we have to what? We sum everything here to give us what number of students study French. So we're going to sum everything here. So let's write that. So yeah, number of students study French to be equal to, so we have x minus 4 plus 8. Okay, and this is equal to, remember we found our x to be 22. So x minus 22, x which is 22 minus 4 plus 8. And this is equal to, now we know that this should be equal to 25. Then we can then conclude on that. Saying, therefore, the number of students who study French is 22. Sorry, 25. Okay, so this is it. We found for the various values. So the next thing for us to find is we're told to find this. So it's important for us to find that. Okay, so we have, so this is what we are to find. So, so this is what we are to evaluate. So we have this to be equal to, we found the number of students studying French and basketballs 25. So this forward, this multiplied to 25, and that multiplied to 25. So this is 22. It's the number of students study history. Okay, so we know 5. We know that these are items. So we can go ahead to make things simpler for us. And in making things simpler for us, we just these two. They are like terms, so we can straightforward on them. And this is what we get. So 4 times 25, we add everything here. And by adding everything here, what you should get is, okay, you can make things simpler for yourself. If you're not good with a calculator, just type this first on your calculator. So when you're done, then so let's do that. So go ahead to, okay, so with this we type 4 divided by 5. Sorry, type this as you see on the screen there. Type this whole thing on your calculator. So we know 4 times 25 equals 100. Okay, so just type this one on top. Okay, the numerator. So we know 6 times 22 equals 132. So type it this way on your calculator. If you are in a junior high school, then you have to calculate this without using a calculator, and your answer should be equal to 232 divided by 5. So if you get 232 divided by 5 should be equal to 46.4. So we should get 46.4. and this all is squared. So it's squaring everything there as you see on the screen. We have it's still 46.4. So 46.4 squared. So 4 squared is 16. So 46.4 squared. You work it out if you are in your junior level, junior high level. But if you happens to be in senior high level, then you can use your calculator, and that should give us 2142.96. So in order to can then go into 16 8 times, but then we can divide this by 16, and our answer will get to be 134.56. So that's divided by 3. And that should be equal to, so divided by 3 times 2, 89.71. So this is the answer we get. Yes. So please, if you want elaboration on a particular question, do comment below. If you don't understand anything, do comment below so that I elaborate it on the next video. So thank you very much for watching this, and I am pleading that you subscribe, and please like it and share it, and tell your friends to also like and subscribe. Spread the word out there.